Are they good afternoon, comrades? Let me just see if I got this thing set up properly here. Can comrades hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, let me just get the volume up here on that side. Comrades must forgive me. I'm still very much a novice at this, and yeah, just hope find a way through this. Welcome, Comrade Joseph T, Comrade Google Majola, Comrade Chris, Comrade Normie,
Great.
Comrade Tuzama, Reverend Mark, Comrade Richard. See, Paul is busy connecting. Lynn Abrams, welcome. I was hoping to, there was a slideshow that Comrade Paul and Comrade Mark and Comrade Google had put together, but somehow I just can't seem to figure out how to get that to sort of play as an intro. Right. Okay. Shall we give another minute or two for others to perhaps join? Ah. Okay, well, it's 9 minutes past 4. We've only got an hour on the Zoom session, so I would propose that we get started. In terms of the program that we have, by the way, I should introduce myself to those who don't know me. My name is Isham Mulaji. I'm the chairperson of the ANC Ward 14 branch in the Dalla Omar. And I'll be your program director for this memorial service. The program that we had outlined, and I'm just going to briefly. Okay. Gugu, you raised your hand. Sorry.
Hi, no, I just wanted to say that we are on. With regards to the time, I've noticed that Zoom is giving a limitless of time under COVID, so we could have more than an hour if it's ended to get to a few minutes after an hour. I'm just highlighting that. Okay.
Thanks. That's actually good to know.
Thanks.
I actually didn't know that. Thanks. Yeah, the program that we had worked on would basically start with a opening and welcoming, and then a opening prayer offered by Comrade Pastor Mark Claassen, Thereafter, a tribute by the ANC Ward 14 branch, which will be conducted by myself. Thereafter, a tribute by the ANC Dalaoma region, and Comrade Joseph T will honor us with that. Followed by a tribute by the alliance partner, Sanko, and Comrade Tozama Bevu will present that. A tribute by Kutsatu, which well, would have been done by Comrade Melvin de Bruin. He did, however, send me a letter and asked me to read it out, which would be the Kutsatu contribution to it. Comrade Melvin finds himself in the Northern Cape at the moment, and apparently the reception isn't that good. So there is a written tribute from Kusatu, which I will read. That will be followed by a tribute by Comrade Jean's family, and Mr. Mbola will take care of that. And then a sermon, short sermon by Pastor Mpati, followed by a tribute by Ambassador Jean Beneveld. Now, just on that matter, there is a slight change to the program, because following the tribute by Ambassador Beneveld would have been the IPC convener, Comrade Lerumo, who would have given the tribute on behalf of the ANC. However, he called me to say that, you know, somehow the times clashed, that there is also a memorial virtual service for Ward 107, I think he said, also happening at the same time. And that he had asked Comrade Sean to essentially represent the IPC. So Comrade Sean's tribute would be combined as representing IPC. And then thereafter we will close. Hopefully we can conclude all of this within an hour. In terms of just a few housing rules, in terms of the speakers, I would, in terms of being able to fit everyone in, and that there's enough time, and taking into account that we might have some more time, thankfully, that I request that, you know, the inputs that it be kept to not more than 3 to 4 minutes, well, 5 at most. That way, I think we will be able to sort of fit everything in and conclude in time. I would also propose that those who would also like to contribute, that you do so by text message, which during the program can be sort of laid out, and that we, yeah, those who have their mics on, please mute, and yeah, I see who's all on. Okay, yeah, there is still a few more coming. Sean will still join us. But I would propose that we get started. So my official task is to welcome one and all. Thank you for taking the time out. It's not a joyous occasion, I must say. Saying farewell to a dear comrade is never a joyous occasion. And Comrade Jean has touched us all in so many ways, and it's only fitting that we honor her in this way. So to get the process started, can I call upon Comrade? There's just some that I'm admitting. Yeah. Can I call upon Comrade Pastor Mark Clarkson to start us off with an opening prayer? Comrade Mark, you can unmute and you can proceed. Comrade Mark, can you hear us? You are unmuted. Ah, Denver. Hey, okay. Comrade Mark, I don't seem to see you here anymore. Yes, no, you are there. Comrade Mark, if you can hear us, activate your video. So that we can see you, and I think Mark is having some difficulty connecting, or at least he is connected, but I think you might have, okay, then he's busy connecting to audio. Okay, Mark, you need to unmute.
Good afternoon, everybody. I thank you for this wonderful day that God has carried us through, for this day that we celebrate the life of our dear comrades. We thank you that they could be a beacon of hope to each and every one of us. We're also thinking as we praying today, especially for those who passed on some time ago. We also want to pray for those in hospital. As we close our eyes, as we enter to pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for your grace of our life. Thank you that we can hear, we can see, we can breathe easily, and we can walk and we can talk. Thank you for your grace over our life. Lord, we're gathering today, Lord, to celebrate the life of our comrade, of a mother, Lord, of our aunt, Lord. Thank you for everything that she brought into this world, everything that she done. Thank you, Lord, for her love, her courage, her strength that she carried out through each and every one of us, Lord. Lord, many times she had difficulties, Lord, but she forgot about her difficulty and she was somebody to help others out in their needs. And we thank you for that, Lord. And I want to pray, Lord, as you taught us to pray on the hill, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Amen.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mark. Heartfelt prayer taken to heart. I'm just checking if there's others that are waiting to be admitted. We will then move over on to the next point, which is the presentation by NC Ward 14 branch, which is my task. And you know, in maybe I should say it this way. You know, the past week has essentially been a very, you know, numbing week, in the sense that Jean's, you know, passing came as a huge shock, huge loss. And in trying to sort of, you know, figure out what it is that one needs to say, it was really not an easy task. So it's the thing of, what does one say about Comrade Jean? She was my comrade, she was my friend, she was my BSc member. Do I talk about the fact that she was a committed ANC member? Do I talk about the fact that she was a hard worker for the ANC? Do I talk about the fact that she lived her life in service of the ANC and in service of her community? You know, do I talk about the fact that, you know, sometimes she would operate a little buy-stand, and she would sell buy meat and votes to passers-by, only to donate her profits, you know, for the day to someone who needed something to eat? Do I talk about the pots of soup that she would make, that she would serve to the children of the community when they come home from school? For many, you know, that would be the only meal of the day. Do I mention that she wielded, you know, huge influence in the community in Happy Valley, including the adjacent VDs? You know, do I mention the fact that that influence was born out of you know, deep love and respect that people had for her? What is it that I actually say about Comrade Jean? All of what I've said is known, and it's acknowledged by all who knew her. And there's nothing remarkable about that. You know? That was Comrade Jean. She was an amazing person, you know, finish and clear. She was a philanthropist in the true sense of the word. Not those who claim to be philanthropists, who ride on the backs of others, like your Bill Gates and your Oppenheimers and your Ruperts and the Soonways of this world, you know, who are driven by vanity, by fame and validation, you know, to somehow water a rotten ego, you know. No. Comrade Jean gave all she had, and, you know, felt bad and lamented when she couldn't give anymore or couldn't give more, you know. That is the Comrade Jean we all know. So what does one say about Comrade Jean? Well, there was far more to Comrade Jean than just being an amazing person. It was a politics. Now, yeah, I don't talk about ANC politics or ANC policies or ANC positions on various issues, or even ANC organizational politics. Those are all basic politics, the kind that most members dabble in, you know. ANC politics was somewhat different. It was informed by a set of values which, you know, which defines the revolutionary morality, you know. It's simple things like honesty and sincerity and integrity and compassion. Simple things. It isn't even politics. It's things that defines what it means to be human, to care, to love, to have compassion. It's those values, I think, which determine Comrade Jean's politics. Being a compassionate person, Yeah, just simply being a compassionate person. So it's only natural that she would be moved by the suffering and injustice of others. Being an honest and sincere person, it's only natural that dishonesty and malfeasance would infuriate her. Being a person who placed immense value on integrity, it is only natural that looting and unbridled corruption and injustice that only serves, to impoverish the poor, that would get a blood boiling. It's a hatred for injustice that would make her fearless and an outspoken critic to those who perpetrate it, regardless of who it is. That was Cde Jean. So it was therefore no surprise that Cde Jean would stand up in the regional meeting, which was attended by the former president, Jacob Zuma, and gave him a lesson in revolutionary morality and ethics. Cde Jean's code was simple. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. Full stop. There's no gray area there. No. So as a side note, I don't think the former president was persuaded by Cde Jean at that particular meeting, though, sadly. There isn't much that seems to be able to persuade the former president. So let's hope that the apex court, constitutional court, at least has the ability to persuade him. I digress. Lastly, perhaps the most defining characteristic of Cde Jean was a truly non-racial consciousness, in the sense that she saw the humanity in people, not their color. Yeah, I seem to have clicked on it. She saw the humanity in people, not their color. She saw the oneness of humanity, and not their language and their culture and their traditions or social status. She manifested a true expression of the values contained in the Freedom Charter, in particular, a South Africa that belongs to all who live in it, black or white. Cde Jean was a revolutionary cadre, the sort that Che Guevara defines as a cadre. That was Cde Jean. In closing, comrades, and on behalf of the branch executive committee and members of the Ward 14 branch, I want to offer our heartfelt condolences to Cde Jean's family. Your loss is our loss. Your pain is our pain. The void that you feel, that is the void that we feel as well. We thank you for sharing your mother, sister, grandmother with us, and apologize for any inconvenience it may have caused. Rest assured, your mother leaves a legacy that inspires us as much as what it humbles us. We have huge shoes to fill, and so do you. Your mother's legacy live on in you, and to have a legacy live on in us, to inspire us to live Cde Jean's legacy. I'm delighted to announce that my branch executive has taken a decision to start the process of renaming our branch from, which is normally known as ANC Ward 14, to that of ANC Jean Mthamo branch. Jean lives, ANC leads. Thank you very much, Comrade. That concludes my input. Just get back to the program here. Comrade Joseph, there's just a few that I need to admit still. Do that.
Am I not there?
Yep. No, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Comrade Joseph, welcome, and thank you for.
Thank you very much, Comrade.
The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Program Director and Chairperson of Ward 14, members of the Provincial Task Team and branch members, and comrades and friends and alliance partners. I must admit today is not an easy task to speak to you about the passing of Comrade Jean. I was deeply shocked when I learned of the passing of our beloved comrade. Can you hear me still?
Yes.
We also acknowledge that the current period has been very difficult for all of us, and we have also lost many comrades, community members, and members of the ANC in recent months. I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the Dala Umar region in wishing the Mthamo family all the strength and the comfort through this very difficult time. I want to assure the family that we are thinking of them and wish you moments of peace and comfort. And we still subscribe to the slogan that an injury to one is an injury to all, and we are deeply moved by the passing of your mama. I want to assure you that the African National Congress as a family is here for you during this time of sorrow. Please receive my sincere and warmest condolences and let our mother's revolutionary soul rest in peace. Thank you, Comrade Chairperson, for inviting me to pay a short tribute to Comrade Jean. Our comrade who has been affectionately known as Mama Jean. I recall the first time that I met her during very, very difficult times in an underdeveloped Happy Valley during the 90s. And that obviously was before the unveiling of the African National Congress. I agree with you, comrade, that when you have met her, she would meet you with a smile, and her friendliness was inspiring. When the ANC was unbanned, Mama Jean was first, she was there, leading as an organizer on behalf of her beloved organization. Thereafter, when the constitutional structures were launched, Comrade Jean was there to launch the zones, and thereafter the sub-regions and eventually the regions of the ANC. I would recall at one stage I asked Comrade Sean and others, is Comrade Jean a full-time member of staff? Because when you come to the old northern suburbs offices in Casselsvlei Road in Bellville South, she will always be around, play her part in a very humble way. Nothing was too small or too big for Comrade Jean. And when meetings were scheduled, she will always be the first to arrive at the meeting. And we all know she did not have a vehicle, but she would be first in the meeting. And nobody would thought or ask the question, how did Comrade Jean actually get to the meeting? Only later we will discover that she either hiked to the meeting or took a taxi or a train, I remember how comrades in Mfuleni, comrades like Comrade Tozama, Comrade Oliver Mkubelani, Comrade Trevor Tukwana and them will bring her along to the meetings. If it was not the contingency of Mfuleni, it will be the Blue Dawn comrades, Comrade Sean, yourself, Comrade Chairperson, Comrade Paul, and I understand he still plays this role as a revolutionary driver, transporter in the organization. But that is what happened. But she will always be present. And if she was not present, we would know that something is seriously wrong. You know what I laughed about Comrade Jean is for her ability to have spoken the Chochi Afrikaans to us at times. And we would laugh about it, the way she could articulate Afrikaans. And she would make a remark and say, hey, jy moet wat like die, ons sal weer kom, die abuya nie na. You know, she will make those kind of comments to you. And sometimes I would comment and say, Comrade Jean, die kleine itoliki. I say, jy moet na my huis toe kom, you must come to my house for an interpretation lesson. Well, that's Comrade Jean. Just bear with me. When we had meetings about the project in Palestine, in Happy Valley, she would host the meetings at her place. There was no light, no electricity, and Comrade Jean would put on the candle. I'm looking now, the candle. But despite her humbleness, she will still ask, comrades, can I make you coffee? Comrades, can I offer you cool drink? And she, in my view, represent the humbleness that must inspire humility. And this is how I remember Comrade Jean. In 1995, during the Oosterburg municipal elections, regrettably, we all know it's common cause that we never won that election in Oosterburg, but I think it was sweeter in the Tygerberg municipality. And there were only a few comrades from the Oosterburg municipality, but I can tell you we gave the next yell in that council. And Comrade Jean was a campaigner, she was the organizer. Despite our very small numbers in council, we will back it up with campaigns and programs and push the nets back not to implement resolutions, whether it's an EXCO or in that big council. And Comrade Jean will be there with her forces and her group and making her voice known. I must tell you, comrades, she led by example. She attended council meetings. She attended the ANC caucus meetings in Oosterburg. Sadly, there are many councillors who fail to do this in our present day. But Comrade Jean, as a non-councillor, would do that and be a mobilizer and be present in meetings. Her dream was for the completion of the housing project in Happy Valley. She always said, I want basic infrastructure and I want housing for my people in Happy Valley. After years of persistent struggles, the Happy Valley community became a formal reality when the project was eventually launched and is today known as the Happy Valley community that falls under Ward 14. I want to take this opportunity to salute Mama Jean for her courageous efforts as a community leader, as an activist, as an ANC leader. She honestly loved a glorious movement. She lived and upheld the aims and objectives of the African National Congress, set out in our constitution, the Freedom Charter, and other adopted policies of the organization. She joined the ANC voluntary, without any motives of material gain, material advantage, or personal gain. She respected the constitution and the structures and worked as a loyal member of the organization. I can only say Mama Jean was a fine comrade who placed her energies and skills at the disposal of the ANC and carry out her task without fear or favor. Mama Jean tirelessly worked towards making the ANC even a more effective instrument of liberation in the hands of the people of Happy Valley, but broadly in the metro, northern suburbs and elsewhere. She dedicated herself to defend the unity and the integrity of the organization and the principles, and she combated any tendency towards corruption and factionalism, and the point that you made, Comrade Chair, of that meeting in Athlone. She was a comrade very close to my heart, who took active part in the life of a branch, but also in the ANC at large. She took all the necessary steps to understand and carry out the aims, the policies, and the programs of the movement. And she could explain it in her own particular way, the policies and the programs of the organizations to ordinary people. She understood it was important to develop an understanding of the social, cultural, and political and economic problems of South Africa, and gave it a local perspective. She combated propaganda detrimental to the interests of the ANC and defended the policies, the aims and the programs. She consistently reprimanded comrades on social chat groups of their role and always called for unity. She was never afraid. I actually laughed how many times Comrade Jean would leave the Northern Suburbs chat group, and after a week after she's cooled down, she will come back. But that was her when she disagreed with you. But she never yelled it against you or threatened you. I will deal with you at a later stage. That was Comrade Jean that I remember. She was a disciplined comrade. She behaved in an honest manner and carried out her duties with loyalty. And she accepted a democratic decision at the end of the day. I agree with you. I remember a meeting before your AGM, Comrade, and I was there when Comrade Jean told me that she believes that the membership was manipulated. Organize a meeting in the week with the secretary of the region and the membership department, and Comrade Tozama accompanied her. I was stunned. Comrade Jean did not mince her words. And that is what I call a person who responded without fear or favor, articulating the branch position. And nobody hated that for her. It was just her as a person. Comrades, I know today the theme of this conference, of this memorial service, is about organizational renewal. It's a topic that we understand that a much deeper engagement of. If I look at the panel today here, Comrade Son, Comrade Tozama, the comrade from Kosatu, and other comrades, I am sure, and I hope that I've not taken some of my personal memories that I have experienced with Comrade Jean away, and in a way narrowed their input. But I'm sure they will take it further to speak about organizational renewal. It is not the first time that the question of organizational renewal will be discussed. It came up in 1969 at the Marabora Consultative Conference, 50 odd years, when the issue of organizational renewal was first addressed. But in the context that it was raised is to craft a way for Black in general and Africans in particular, but the disenfranchised people to achieve liberation in South Africa. The issue was raised again in 2017 at the ANC National Conference, and it was raised in a different context. We know it is no secret, looting of state resources, corruption, and many misconducts, conducts are taking place in an organization. If you listen to what I indicated and said earlier on about what Comrade Jean stands for and what he represented in the ANC. That is the benchmark that any member of the ANC, any branch executive member, any zonal leader, any REC and provincial executive member must aspire to lead and accept. That is the model that Comrade Jean built. And I want to say I'm looking forward for the day when branches will become real branches. We will have a capable cadre like Comrade Jean that can take this movement forward. I am of the view, comrades, our conversation about renewal should not be only a verbal debate, but it must be based on the principles, the policies of the organization. Those of us who've been around, we know what is a branch. We know what constitutes a branch. If we must ask a branch today, tell us, give us your minutes. Tell us what is the programs in your branch. It will be a tough ask. And the only way that we can remember Comrade Jean is to go back to basics, where branches become proper branches, where leaders are proper leaders, and we are respected by the people of our communities, our provinces in particular. I want to thank the Mthamo family for lending Mama Jean so that she could provide leadership and serve her communities. I pray for the day that her efforts will not be in vain. But a few years from now, we can look back and say, her contribution has made that we have won back the city of Cape Town, and that we are now ruling, we are back in power in the Western Cape province. Let her revolutionary soul rest in peace. Hamba Gasla Mama Jean, I salute you. Forward ever, backward never. Thank you, Comrade Chair.
Wow. Thank you, Comrade Joseph. That was incredibly powerful, on point, and it distinctly captures Comrade Jean. And I think I think you'd be able to appreciate why I specifically asked you, because to do justice to Comrade Jean, you must have experienced her. You've got to know her to be able to talk about her. And I certainly know that you have got, as you have shared here, intimate experiences and knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Somehow I seem to have lost my bearings here now. Let me just get back to it in terms of the next item on the program. That would be a tribute by Sanko, and there I ask Comrade Tuzama Bevu, the Deputy Chair of Sanko in Western Cape Province, also Ward 14 Branch Secretary as well. Comrade Tuzama, I give the floor to you on behalf.
Comrade Chair, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, I can hear. I'm sure others can hear you as well.
Thank you very much.
Just
Good
before you
afternoon.
start, those who are not muted, please mute yourself. Comrade Joseph, I see you're not muted. Yeah, okay. Comrade Tuzama, proceed.
Good afternoon, comrades.
Afternoon, Comrade
Thanks,
Tozi.
Comrade Chair. Why do you want to see me? Good afternoon, comrades. All protocol observed. Qina mhlali, qina. Qina mhlali, qina. Amandla. Long live the spirit of comrades. Comrade Jean, long live.
Long
Long
live.
live.
Enkosi. Nathi singusanko. Dithunywa isanko Western Cape Provincial Executive Committee uba nathi sizongqina ngomsebenzi kaComrade uJean Mthamo. Kuba kaloku siyamazi. We know how Happy Valley started. At that time, it was the time where we had a civic organization. Sanko was not born yet at that time. It was the time where we were working under the banner of the Civic, Western Cape Civic Association. That's the time when Sis Jean led the communities who were staying in Blackheath, people who were looking for a place to stay. Apho khona babefuna indawo yokuhlala bephuma kweza farms lapha eBlackie besiya ukuhlala eHappy Valley. Usis Jean ke ngomnye wabantu ababekhokhela lo mikhankaso yokwenza oko. This woman was a leader. Sis Jean was a community developer. Sis Jean was not like me and you. Sis Jean was born to lead, comrades. She was a leader who was able to lead, to change indlela abantu abahlala ngayo. Ngoba ngelo xesha babefuna izindlu. People at that time, they were fighting, looking for housing because babehlala ezifemini, befuna indawo zokuhlala. Bahamba bayobeka amatyotyombe phaya kula Happy Valley. Apha khona walwa uSis Jean ekunye ke namanye amaqabane. Obawo uGaba, omgcina, yayingabahlali baphaya ababesebenza bonke. Mna ndingumhlali ngelo xesha. In fact, ndingekafiki kwasemfuleni ngelo xesha. But uSis Jean we knew into bangaba xa uthetha ngoHappy Valley awukwazi umshiya ngaphandle. Naxa ngeli xesha kusenziwa iCivic, uSis Jean ngumuntu wokuqala into kubangaba kuyiwe kubo bedibene noGaba kubangaba maba-organize abantu. Babe bebhizi nyani be-organizer besebenzela into kubangaba makwakhiwe izindlu. Zakhiwe ke izindlu. iWest Bank yayingekabikho noba kuba ndikhumbula kakuhle ngelo xesha. Kuba kaloku yayiHappy Valley kuphela. Kwaze ke ngoku kwaliwa kwakhiwa izindlu. Abanye abantu baseHappy Valley bathathwa basiwa phi eWest Bank. Yimizabalazo ke yayisenziwa ngulo mama. Lo mama ehamba ubusuku nemini. uSis Jean ungenawuthi xa uya endlini yakhe uthi uzomthatha bebuza into bangaba siyaphi this and that. Uba uthi fika uyafika pha uzomthatha. Sis Jean kukho into njengale masambe uyataka ushiya abo bantwana apho oboJean abagogo abo ahambe ashiya abantwana nabazukulwana bakhe atsho endleleni. Umama ke ebesinaye lo simbiza ngoba nguSis Jean. Sis Jean was really for me like a friend, was a friend, a mother, a sister, because we were sharing everything together. Even our family issues, we were sharing, I was sharing with Sis Jean ezonto. Ezomzabalazo ke bendisebenza naye uSis Jean ngomnye wabantu bethunana esingasoze simlibale kwimizabalazo yasekuhlaleni. Ndikhumbula ngelixa unyanisile uComrade Joseph befuna umbane. uSis Jean ebehamba phambili, ehamba nabantu ke ingenguye yedwa kodwa eqatsele evela phambili besilwela into yombane. Ndikhumbula nangelinye ixesha Joseph Tibe lapha nyane eOstenburg bematsha kuthiwa hey kuvaliwe eHappy Valley akukwazeki indlela ubheka eCase River. Yimizabalazo ke yayikhuphelwa nguSis Jean leyo. Kukoko sisithi iHappy Valley mna ndiyatsho phofu andiqondi bangaba ingaphinda ibe yiyo ngaphandle koComrade uJean.
What you saying?
Can people please mute, please? Sis Jean was a hero. Sis Jean uwalwele amalungelo omama. I-crime eHappy Valley ibiyi-crime enkulu kakhulu. Kodwa bengoyiki lo mama ukuhamba ngobusuku ehamba nabanye omama. Ndimangale into yokuba ngaba baphi na ootata baseHappy Valley. Kodwa the way lo mama ebekhaliphe ngayo, ebekhalipha de avuke ebusuku ahambe ngobusuku ethatha nabanye omama behamba kusithiwa kwenzeka into ethile. I-crime igubungele iHappy Valley. Ibingumama osoloko ke enewari. Sis Jean was so worried about the abuse of alcohol in the area, about drugs, about poverty. I'm talking about Sis Jean Mthamo. Lo sisi, I remember very well, ehambe efuna kwecela izonka. She even had time to cook for people, just to give kids, just to give people of Happy Valley something to eat. They will go and sit there by the hall and cook. She will say that we are looking for food just to make sure that there's something that people can go and eat at their places. Jean Mthamo ke lo ebesenza ngolo hlobo. Ibingumama uSis Jean. Ibingutata uSis Jean. I must not forget that. Ukuthi uSis Jean was also a family man. Even though engumama, but uSis Jean was a family man because ebejonga yonke into eqhubekayo. Ndikhumbula ngexesha khona apho uSanko uCivic bebaninzi apha kuba lokuqala kubiqale iCivic kwabe kukho KHEC kwabe kukho nezinye iAssociation. She was also part of the people who wanted ukuthi makudityanwe ibe nguSanko ibe nguCivic oyi-1. Yaba njalo ke nangoku walontsha uCivic. Lo ke ngoku uye wajika waba nguSanko. Khangayishiye still ilantuka iCivic organization uSis Jean. Xa kuvulwa kufakwa uSanko ube part yokuthi make sure uba ngaba eHappy Valley uSanko uba khona. USis Jean even ngoku was so worried about indlela uSanko asebenza ngayo ekuhlaleni. USis Jean wahamba wayosebenza ongezwe ikomiti yeSanko, andithethi eye-ANC but eyeSanko, because she wanted to see into yokuba ngaba ekuhlaleni umbutho wokuhlala uyasebenza kwaye uqhubeke ngezinto ezifanele into yoba ngaba zenziwe. Ibingumama ke oyijonge kakhulu i-development. Even ngoku uthe xa ke bebonwa into yokuba ngaba le ndawo yosebenzela phaa onobhizinesi uba ngaba iphelile, iyadimolishwa, iyamoshwa, kwenziwa into ezibrongo, ikwangulo mama uphakamileyo. Wahamba babheka ekukhansila beyocela kukhansila into yokuba ngaba makulungiswe le ndawo kuthiwa ngaba yilantuka iplaza. Nangoku iplaza ibiyelwe kuyafiyaza ilantuka ikhansila yayilungisa yayivala. Kubani kanti obelungisa kanti ukuba makube khona itaxi rank? Ikwangulo mama eHappy Valley ezamela into yokuba ngaba oonoteksi buyabona phayanga kwa-Asla oonoteksi phaa basame nje phaya kolaa hlobo. Akho taxi rank suited right for laa msebenzi. NguSis Jean ke obehamba esebenzela into yokuba ngaba mayenzeke loo nto leyo. Nangoku phambi kwento yoba ngaba sibe siyahamba siya kwi-conference yeSanko, uSis Jean was part of that. Ebeyiphathi yokubona into yokuba ngaba umbutho weSanko mawume ade athi xa ithethayo, if civic movement is not strong, how can we expect that ANC will be strong? It will never be strong if even umbutho wokuhlala is so weak. Ibe yinto ke soloko ishunyayelwa ngulo mama lena. Ndingatsho ndithi singabahlali baka Ward 14, singabahlali thina beSanko silahlekelwe umama uJean. Umama uJean ngumuntu ebemanyanisa abantu even amongst iward iyonke. Uyawubona mos into yokuba ngaba even umbutho wezepolitiko buphaka eHappy Valley ungekho kwezinye iiphathi zeward. Besikhunjuzwa kwangulo mama inguye osidudulayo into yokuba ngaba bethunana Ward 14 can never be Ward 14. Sicinge fanto bangaba i-branch, it's only a Happy Valley. Kunyanzelekile into bangaba sithi make sure into bangaba sibheka kwezinye indawo. Nyani ke ifezekile phambi ndiyavulela uThixo kuba ngaba iye yafezeka loo nto yento kuba ngaba sikwazi ukuphuma sibuye siye kwezinye indawo zika Ward 14 njengoko uSis Jean ebekhuthaza kuba ngaba makwenzeke oko. Silahlekelwe ke Maqabane, silahlekelwe ke ngulo mama, silahlekelwe kakhulu kangangokuba silahlekelwe siyayicinga into yokuba ngaba azi uba siza kwenza ngoluphi na uhlobo. Imkile ke ngoku ifowuni yami iyahamba ngoku xa kulo hlobo. Mandigqibe ke ngelithi singusanko sithi nathi abantwana bakamama uJean siyabulela kubo ngokuba ngaba baye basinika wasebenza uSis Jean esebenzela umbutho, akakwazi ubakhulisa kahle ehleli nabo, akakwazi utya ubomi ngoba abanye oomama bahleli ezindlini zabo batya ubomi, kodwa yena kuba ebengumuntu osoloko efuna omnye umntu abe bhetere, efuna omnye umntu abe nayo into olala etyile, kodwa baye bamvumela into makakwenze oko. Siyabulela ke ngaloo nto. Nathi sithi makalale uMajola ngoxolo, aphumle, usebenzile. Thina usishiyele imfundiso engaphezu kwemfundiso ngoba siyayazi ngokuba ngaba ntoni ekufanele siyenzile. Siyayazi singusanko into yokuba ngaba kufuneka usanko aphile esebeni njengoko ebeyiphathi yokumfomisha into yoba ngaba usanko abe khona kwibranch yam, ubekho ke ngemisebenzi yakhe. Nathi ke manditsho ndithi siyabulela. Enkosi. Hamba kahle Comrade Jean, ulale ngoxolo Majola. Enkosi.
Thank you very much, Comrade Tozama. Again, you have captured, you know, the essence of Comrade Jean beautifully. Thank you very much for that. Touching indeed. The next item on the agenda is the input by Cusatu. As mentioned when we started, and just to recap on that, the Comrade Melvin de Bruin, the provincial secretary of Cusatu, unfortunately could not participate in this, but he did send a letter which he asked me to read out. He unfortunately finds himself in the Northern Cape at the moment, and apparently his reception is not good. So I will read the contribution from Comrade Melvin on behalf of Fatu. And it reads, eulogy to the late Comrade Jean Mthamo. Get this sorted out here. Yeah. It says, good day to the family, the religious fraternity, the ANC, the Alliance Partners leadership of all trade unions, civil society, and all comrades present, all protocols observed. We are gathered here to celebrate the life of a stalwart, a comrade, and a heroine of our struggle. On behalf of the national and provincial leadership, as well as close to 240,000 members of Cusatu in the Western Cape, we would like to extend our deepest sympathy to the family. We are hoping that comfort and peace may come to you because we feel your pain. Hard to believe that an injury or loss to one is an injury or loss to all. Although no words can really help to ease the loss you bear, just know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. We have lost a dear friend, comrade, a mother, a grandmother, and are saddened by her untimely death. Your loss is our loss, and we mourn with you. Cde Jean was indeed a heroine in her own right, and has done a great service to all of us and for generations to come. We must pick up her fallen spear and continue to fight for a socialist South Africa, because capitalism has failed us. We must seize the opportunity to build a new society free of exploitation and oppression. The lack of political discipline and factionalism within the ANC risks alienating the voters away from the ANC. Workers are fast losing confidence in the willingness and capacity of the ANC to honestly fight corruption. The cancer of corruption is also weakening the alliance and undermines its capacity to achieve its objectives and honor its commitments. We are saying that the culprits must be found and go to jail, and all monies to be recouped. We must also remember all citizens, including workers, who have died of COVID-19 over the last couple of months, and we send our condolences to the families. This deadly virus has inflicted economic and emotional havoc on many families. We salute our frontline workers who are putting their own lives in danger to lead the fight against this deadly virus. It is a crime that these brave workers do not get the necessary support and protection from government. We urge all South Africans to play their role in reducing the spread of the virus. May the family find strength in the love of family, friends, and colleagues, comrades in these difficult times. We are going to miss her and salute her for her dedication, commitment, and loyalty, which serves as a lesson to all. Long live the spirit of Cde Jean. Long live. Long live the undying spirit of Cde Jean. Long live. Amandla, I thank you. That, comrade, was a letter from Comrade Melvin de Bruyn. We thank Comrade Melvin for taking the time out, and even in his absence, still, placing importance on and valuing the role that Cde Jean had in the ANC, in the organization, in our community, and so on. Just forgive me, and we just get to where we're supposed to be. Thomas must forgive me. I'm still a novice at this and still finding my way. The next item on the agenda is a tribute by the family, which will be rendered by Mr. Majola. The floor is yours. Mr. Majola, if you are muted, please unmute. There you go. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all members of the ANC. I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to say some few words, or thank you all for all the contribution you do today for my sister. I am not going to call her a comrade. She is my sister, and she taught us everything. We didn't cry so that we should have to cry. We didn't cry. We are talking about her every day. He makes jokes. I don't know where we get the strength to say that. The only thing, I will thank you all for all the contribution you've done to my sister today. I'm gonna read this to you. Lulama Jean Mthamo uzalwa yintombi yakwa Mthamo yakwambamba notata nomchongwana Jolinkomo. Lulama bazalwe basixhenxe onyana abane nentombi ezintathu. Yena ebantwaneni wayengowesithathu. Bese kushiyeke abathathu abaphilayo. Ushiye ubhuti wakhe nentombi uSisitozi. Ushiye uThembisa. Ushiya iintombi zakhe ezimbini, uLindiwe noGugu, nabazukulwana bakhe abahlanu. uNhlanhla, uPamela, Atenkosi, uJovan noAzasakhe. Lulama wafunda amabanga aphantsi eLiwa Primary School, wagqithela kumabanga aphezulu kwaNokweja High School, KwaZulu Natal, eXhosa. Wagqithela kwikholeji, wafundela ubongikazi. Nalapho khange akwazi ukunyamezela ngenxa yentliziyo encinci, kuba ebengumuntu engayithandi into embi. Waya wabuyela eKapa, wathatha isigqibo sokuzisebenzela. Ukuzisebenzela ke, you all say what she has done. Everything, I cannot even mention one. You all say everything my sister has done. Thank you. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Majola. You had an amazing sister that touched our lives and touched so many lives in profound and wonderful ways. And we can only say thank you to you. She was our sister, a comrade and our mother. Comrade Matsumpa says, we will always remember you. Comrade Paul says, long live Auntie Jean. You will always be my mother. I will miss you. Etienne Swain says, long live the undying spirit of Comrade Auntie Jean. We salute you. She was more than just a comrade to us. She was family. Thank you for that input, Mr. Majola. We will move to the next item, which is a short sermon by Pastor Mpati. I hand over to you, Pastor.
Thank you so much. It is a great privilege to be part of this commemoration of a leader of such a caliber. A great privilege indeed to be part of this memorial service of a prominent individual, somebody who have done so good and so well to the family, the community, and also the political party that she was working for. Nothing much that we're going to do, but we just need to quickly share a few scriptures to comfort the family at this juncture. Let me read the Bible. Ilizwi lethu sizolifumana libhalwe kwincwadi yeGenesis, chapter 50. Am I audible enough? Am I audible? Chair?
Yes,
Budi, yes.
we can hear
Yes,
you
we can
clearly.
hear you.
We are going to read the scripture from the book of Genesis. This is a Xhosa Bible that I have in front of me. I'll read in Xhosa. Genesis chapter 50, verse 25. Amazwi afundeka ngolu hlobo. uYosefu wafungisa onyana bakaSirayeli esithi uThixo kunene uyakunivelela nje nowanyusa amathambo am emke apha wafa ke uYosefu engominyaka 111. The message endifuna ufocusa kuyo apha kuleli lizwi ile ndawo ithi uThixo kunene family yakwaMthamo uyakunivelela nje nowanyusa amathambo kamama uJean ngesuku langomso lakuphuma ilanga niyokabeka emangcwabeni kwelabafileyo. Ukubaleka kwegama lakhe nemisebenzi emihle engqinwa i-political party abhilonga kuyo umama yenza into okokubana ngelixesha xa simi kule ndawo nathi sinike ubungqina bobukhulu begama likaThixo. Ukubaleka komsebenzi wakhe kwenza kubaleke nethambo lakhe. Kwi-culture yethu as Africans, even ithambo eli lomuntu libalekile. It is for that reason kule Bhayibhile uYosefu kwakufika ixesha lokuphela kobomi bakhe uyaleze nika umyolelo nesifungo kubantakwabo uthi xa ethetha kubo uthi uYehova uThixo uza kunivelela with i-understanding yokuba kwakufika ixesha lokufa inhlungu zombatha umphefumlo athi umculo wengoma emawisile ngelo xa lokushiywa ngabo sibathandayo sokhala kuwe Nkosi sithi nyana kaThixo sive lakusishiya ithemba nezihlobo zidlule sokhala kuwe Nkosi sithi nyana kaThixo sive. Elilizwi ke lamhlanje silifundayo likulomqolo pha ku verse 25 uThixo kunene uyakunivelela nje nowanyusa amathambo am emke apha wafa ke uYosefu. Lizwi lokugqibela nelilizwi lesibini likwincwadi yeBhayibhile pha kwincwadi kaJohn, 1 John chapter 3 sizaphinda kufunda pha ku verse 14. Thina siyazi ukuba sidlule ekufeni sangena ebomini ngokuba sibathanda abazalwane. Apha nali ithemba inkosi uThixo uSomandla umdali makasikelele lamazwi nako konke okuzawuphuma nentshumayelo kuwo lamazwi. Ngaxesha linye sikelele nako kokuthe kothulwa elixesha zizithethe bezivela kwinkalo zonke eziphuma kumbutho iAfrican National Congress. Silapha siphethe imessage yamazwi amabini kwifamily yakwaJola. Isihlobo nezalamane nabo bonke abantu. Sisithi kuni okunene uThixo uza kunivelela. Uyaleza kuYosefu esithi ze niwathathe ke amathambo am ninyuke nawo niwasuse kweli lizwe. uYosefu ngelixesha athetha lamazwi kulizwe lasemzini. Ilizwe lasemzini ngangumzimba lo sihleli kuwo but kwakufika ixesha lokuphela kobomi. Umyalezo onikezwayo uthi ke ngoku uYehova uyakunivelela abe yintuthuzele kuni njengefamily azosuleke inyembezi kungaba kusakho sijuli nakukhala kuba izinto zokuqala zidlule. Namhlanje nanga amathambo kamama uJean echazwa njengamathambo bebalekile bethwele umzimba wakhe wenza imisebenzi emihle Happy Valley, wenza imisebenzi emihle kwi-community, wenza imisebenzi emihle lo mama kwi-African National Congress. Nangoku amathambo wakhe ke ngoku umyalezo ovela kuye uthi ke ngoku zeniwathwale amathambo am niyokwabeka kwindawo ebalulekileyo. uYosefu uyaleza lo myalezo kwisizwe sakwabo uthi zeniwathwale ke amathambo ninyuke nawo kodwa uYehova uThixo uza kunivelela. Ngelixesha abantakwethu uthi lo mculo wengoma emawisile ngelo xa lokushiywa ngabo sibathandayo sokhala kuwe Nkosi sithi nyana kaThixo sive lakusishiya ithemba nezihlobo zidlule sokhala kuwe Nkosi sithi nyana kaThixo sive. Simi apha njengezinkokheli nanjengezicaka endlini yenkosi siphakamisa uThixo phambi kobusobeni njengenyoka yobhethu ukuze athuthuzele imiphefumulo yenu. Xa kufike lo mzuzu uThixo amemeze ngezwi lakhe asibize sisithwalandwe ambize lo mama omkhulu kangaka omisebenzi emihle kangaka wambizela kuye uThixo makuthi ke ngoku ngaphakathi kwethu sithi cwaka
kodwa sigcumele ngaphakathi sisazi uThixo namandla onke isandla sakhe esinamandla siso siyakuthuthuzela. Uncebe lingaphakathini kwethu liyakuthuthuzela nguye uThixo ngoba nguye othe walivula. Silapha ke namhlanje imessage esifuna uninika yona ithi incwadi kaJohane part ithi ngoba thina siyazi ukuba sidlulile ekufeni ngokuba sibathanda abazalwane. Ukufa kuzindidi ezimbini. Ukufa kokuqala kokwakufa kuba ngumzimba useless ongafani nalo kaMama uJean. uMama uJean kuyacaca into yoba ebekwa impilo kuqala wasebomini. Ithi le Bhayibhile ke ngoku xa ithetha ngoba thina siyazi ukuba sidlulile ekufeni sangena ebomini ngokuba sibathanda abazalwane. Uthando igesture yobuthixo efika ngaphakathini kwethu. Uma sinothando, umuntu onothando uba njengomama uJean abe ngumuntu onobuntu. I-sense of humanity is the product and the offspring of love. Uma sinothando bokuthanda bonke abantu siba ngabantu abayile character kaMama uJean. I-character ezalwe yi-sense of generosity, i-generous kindness evela kulo mama obekwazi ukwenzela abantu ebenzela izinto ezinhle. Zithi zithethayo apha lo mama ebelungiselela abantu. Ibingumama selfless, ibingumama kodwa othi xa esenza izinto injongo yakhe isekubeni asevise umphakathi. Uhleli wahlala kwindlu yakhe lo mama waba yi-service provider kwi-community yase-Happy Valley. Naku ke ngoku amathambo akhe elele kule ndawo. Ibizawuthi iBhayibhile ngenye imini xa ithetha amazwi kubani napha phakathini kwethu owake wayibona le ndlu isesekuqaqala bokuqala. Niyibona into engeni enjani na ke ngoku? Aniyibona into engento yini na emehlweni enu? Makangabi into engento amathambo akho uMama uJean ngoba enze imisebenzi emihle kangaka. Ngaphakathini kwakhe zithi zonke izithethi there was a character of love. Ebibonalisa the generous kindness, ububele. That is why the service abantu every time ehlala kwi-community enceda abantu. Abantu basemfuleni igama lakhe liyokucima. Noba selibhaliwe igama lakho libhale ngaphakathi kwenhliziyo zabantu basemfuleni. Kukho abantu abangabantu phezu komhlaba abanamagama alibalekayo. Igama lakhe akubhubha lakuphela ubomi. Igama lakhe liphelela emangcwabeni. Kodwa now we understand that the name of Mother Jean will remain alive in the hearts of the community of Emfuleni. Igama lakhe uThixo, imisebenzi yakhe emihle, iligama elingenakucima, elibhaliweyo kwinhliziyo ze-communities, kwinhliziyo ze-families, kwinhliziyo zamakheyida kaKhongolose. Zibhaliwe igama lakhe liyakucima. It is for that reason the message eyinikwa sizithethi namhlanje beliphakamisa igama lakhe. Ithi ke ngoku imessage namhlanje ngoba thina siyazi ukuba sidlulile ekufeni ngoba sibathanda abazalwane. Bakho abantu phezu komhlaba ngenxa yobulungisa imizimba yabo ingakubona ukufa nakubeni umoya uphumile emzimbeni wenyama. But ubulungisa obuzalisa umzimba wakhe bumenzela umuntu angakubona ukufa ngoba udlule ekufeni ngoba bathanda abazalwane. Abenzi bobulungisa ababubona ukufa. It is for that reason indoda evela kuye uThixo uEnoki ayizange ikubona ukufa because yayinemisebenzi emihle. Isizaliswe bobulungisa, isizaliswe ngumoya kaThixo. The character of love is the character of God, for God is love. Uma ke ngoku kukho umuntu onjengomama uJean, ngumuntu lo oluthanda, ngumuntu lo olungileyo, ngumuntu lo othembakeleyo, ngumuntu lo egqibeleni umoya wakhe lo olangazelelekayo ukuthi ungahlala uphila ube unity amongst the community. Umoya wakhe ube unifier, ube mediator ngexesha le-conflicts. Umoya wakhe onamandla, umoya woxolo, umoya wokuzeka kade umsindo, umoya wobulungisa, umoya wobulali. Nguwo lo siwubonayo ekuthethwa ngawo ngaphakathini. Ithi ke le Bhayibhile ngoba thina siyazi sidlulile ekufeni. Umuntu uyadlula ekufeni esengene nokwengcwaba, adlule kuko konke ukufa ngoba ethanda abazalwane. Uthando is the character of God. Eba ngaphakathini komuntu. When we have that character of God ngaphakathini kwethu, we deliver uthando ngaphakathini kwabantu, senze konke okulungileyo, and that is the spirit of Christ. Uma sinalo moya onjalo uhleli ngaphakathini kwethu, siyadlula ekufeni because sibathanda abazalwane bethu. uthando luyi-character kaThixo uma lihleli ngaphakathini kwethu. It is isiqinisekiso sobukho bukaThixo ngaphakathini kwethu. Bakho abantu phezu komhlaba abathi banoThixo, bakho abantu phezu komhlaba abathi banoYesu, bakho abantu phezu komhlaba abathi banomoya, umoya oyingcwele ngaphakathini kwabo. But namhlanje uma sibona isipho sothando ngaphakathini kwethu komuntu, kuba lapho siqonda khona uba ngenene nalo muntu uvela kuYuthixo ebenomoya kaThixo, sisidalwa sikaThixo. Umama uJean namhlanje, umama Mthamo ebezaliswe ngulo moya kaThixo, umoya ohlanganisa abantu, umoya wothando, umoya wenceba, umoya ongazijongi wona, but umoya ojonge ekubeni wenzela abantu izinto, umoya we-service provider, umoya we-leader ngaphakathini kwakhe. Uthando xa lufika ngaphakathini komuntu oluvela oluthando lomama ebenalo, luthando lutransforme umzimba wakhe, kwaphila ubomi abuphilayo akabuphilela yena, wabuphilela uKristu ephezu komhlaba. Boba unani boma, ladies and gentlemen, silapha namhlanje ukudlula ekufeni, sidlula siselapha emhlabeni. Even before kufika ixesha that we depart in this flesh, but siyangena ebomini. Ukudlula ekufeni, ukufa kokuqala is the lack of understanding. Ukufa kokuqala kuxa imizimba yethu izaliswe inzondo. Ukufa kokuqala kuxa imizimba yethu izaliswe bububi nenkohlakalo. Ukufa kokuqala kuxa imizimba yethu izaliswe zonke izinto ezizomhlaba. But masizaliswe luthando, siyadlula ekufeni. Uthando lunguThixo, uthando lunguThixo umdali, uxolo lunguKristu indodana kaThixo, umoya oyingcwele. I-character yabo is the spirit of fellowship, ubudlelwane. Now ezo zinto zontathu, uthando lunguThixo umdali, umama uJean ebenalo, uxolo lunguKristu, umama uJean ebenalo, ubudlelwane. La moya ukuhlanganisa abantu, uhlanganisa amakheda, uhlanganisa osanko, uhlanganisa icommunity. Lo moya wokwazi ukungena ngaphakathini kwabantu, umoya wobudlelwane, wokwazi ukuhlalelana nabantu, umoya wokwazi ukuphila kwindidi zonke zabantu. Lo moya ngumoya we-fellowship, ngumoya wobudlelwane ovela kumoya oyingcwele uma uphila ngaphakathini kwethu. Uma zikho ezo zinto zisenza sidlule ekufeni, ukufa abanye abantu bafika kuko baphelele kuko, kodwa umama uJean namhlanje kuyacaca into uba elithandweni lukaThixo obuhleli kuye lumenze wadlula ekufeni. That is why namhlanje i-taste yokuthetha ngaye ivakala i-community ye-ANC. Uthando lakho Thixo oluhlala ngaphakathini komuntu luyambumba umuntu lomtransform. A transformation is a radical change of the inner body. When umoya kaThixo usondeza transformation, a transformation is not an extraterrestrial entity, but a radical change of the inner body. When we receive the love of God, we are transformed to be the new creatures. Umama Jean is that new creature that was transformed through love of God. Namhlanje sithi ke ngoyimessage yethu kwifamily yasekhaya, thuthuzelekani yakuhlangana ngehliziyo. Phakathi wonke uThixo somandla umdalo sithandayo thina bakuKristu, asikelele ngaphakathini kwethu, asinike intuthuzelo. Incwadi yentshumayelo ithi xa ithetha, lungekabuyeli uthule emhlabeni, kodwa umoya ubuyele esandleni sikaThixo wawudalayo. Even before i-burial date kamama uJean, but umoya wona ufumana ithuba lokubuyela kusandleni sikaThixo wawudalayo. Lungekabuyeli uthuli olu, because umzimba lo luthuli, lungekabuyeli uthuli emhlabeni, kodwa umoya lo kaThixo ubuyele esandleni sikaThixo wawudalayo. Silapha namhlanje njengamangqina ukuba obulungiso obunje sake sambona phi umuntu nje. Uthi uDavide xa ithetha athi dala Thixo inhliziyo ehlambulukileyo. Isipho sokupha, la moya wokupha uwenzela abantu izinto uvela kwinhliziyo ehlambulukileyo. Inhliziyo yokuhlambuluka yenza umuntu ekugqibeleni amfuzo uThixo. Mkhumbula izolo besike savela kuye uThixo, uThixo wasibumba ngokomfanekiso wakhe, saphambuka emendweni ngenxa yenzondo, inkohlakalo nobubi, semka kwishape nomfanekiso kaThixo. Kodwa through love we can be reborn. Elithandweni uThixo somandla umdala uyakwazi aphinda ayifumane ishape ngaphakathini kwethu, ngoba thina siyazi ukuba sidlulile ekufeni ngoba sibathanda abazalwane bethu. Isiqalo sethu bantakwethu, i-message to ama-Cde, hambani niyothanda amanye ama-Cde, hambani niyothanda i-community, hambani niyokwenza uxolo nomphakathi, hambani niyoxolelana iziphoso zenu, hambani niyokwamkelana, hambani niyovuma izono zenu ukuze nimazi umsindisi wazo. I-message to the community, hlanganani elithandweni ukuze ube nendawo yokuzinza umoya kaJean. Uma unduluka umphefumulo uphuma enyameni, uba ngumoya ophilileyo obuye ube ngamandla even kwi-organization. Lo moya, it is for that reason kwakufika ixesha sibhidike ezintweni uzamadoda izabantu abanduluka kuqala ukuthi umoya wobanibani nomoya womadiba mawuhlele ngaphakathini kwethu. Lo moya kamama uJean ulunge unje, ungumoya ozawuphila ngaphakathini kwe-organization nangaphakathi kwe-community. Ungumoya ozawuhlanganisa abantu ngexesha lokwahlukana, ungumoya ozawudibanisa i-association, ungumoya ozawudibanisa the-tri-party alliance, uhlale ngaphakathini kwenu. Ilizwi lakho Thixo Somandla Omdala lilizwi loxolo, lilizwi lothando, lelenceba, lelokuzeka kade umsinde, lelobulali. I-leader iba ne-character yodwa, i-character of love. I-leader iba ne-character yodwa ebalulekileyo, i-attitude of gratitude. I-leader iba ne-character yodwa, i-character yokuxolela. I-leader iba ne-character yodwa, laa nto kuthiwa sisimo sokwazi ukukhona. Wayithi omnye umfo idiplomacy ngumuntu oyazi into abangayithethi. I-leader yabantu uba ngumuntu oyazi into abangayithethi. Silapha baba unaniboma ukuze sedlule ekufeni, ukufa elithandweni, sifike elihlolweni, sizahlangana, sihlanganiswe sibe ngumzimba omnye, sihlale ebomini. Ubomi is unity, ubomi kukuhlangana, ubomi kukuthetha into enye. But ukufa i-division, ukufa uyahlukana umzimba xa ufile, elinye ithambo libheke le, elinye ithambo libheke le. Kodwa xa uhlanganisiwe elithandweni, ungena ebomini, uyahlangana umzimba. Kodwa thina siyazi ukuba sidlulile ekufeni ngoba sibathanda abazalwane. I-message kuni ifamily yasekhaya, nangeli xesha lobunzima, nangeli xesha lobunzima, hambani nihlangane ngothando, niyamkele le nto, niyamkele le nto. Kukho imibhalo edla ngobhalo edungeni xa sisawuqukumbela usuku lethu. Kubakho ixesha abantakwethu ithi intlungu xa ifika emzimbeni wakho ungayazi into yoba mhlawumbi yeyiphi imigudu onoyenza ukuze uphelise loo ntlungu. Maxa wambi kuthe kuhlaleni kwiintlungu zethu side simzonde uThixo omthabathileyo nombizileyo umama uJean. Kukho imibhalo edla ngobhalo edongeni ithi, dear Lord, grant me serenity to accept things I cannot change and wisdom to notice the difference. It is by wisdom evela kuThixo that we can notice the difference. Yes, into esinozitshintsha nezinto ezinawuzitshintsha. Angeke siyitshintshe into yoba umama uJean uhambile. Xolani bantakwethu, xolani bantakwethu. Nithabatha amazwi kaThixo, amazwi othanda uthuthuzela umphefumulo wenu. Kuthi apho inxeba, linxeba limpompoza khona. Kodwa uThixo uSomandla Omdala osithandayo thina bakuKristu alelapha inxeba. UngawuThixo umdala uSomandla ngenza ubuqaqawuli bakhe bukhanye phezu kwakho umama uJean. Awuhlamba umphefumulo wakhe, awuthwalise bonke ubugorho obuvela kuye uThixo. Awuhlanganise uThixo awambese, awumbathise ingubo emhlophe ebuqaqawuli basezulwini. Awuthabatha uphakamisele ngasentla, uthi ulizukisile igama likaThixo uphile ezantsi emhlabeni. Nakaloku nje uphakanyisele ngasentla nguye uThixo uSomandla Omdala. Makasonele la mazwi athi uThixo uSomandla Omdala osithandayo thina bakuKristu asikelele le nkonzo ayingcwalisele ngaphakathini kwethu, ayinike indawo uhlala. Nina njengezihlobo nezalamane, uThixo uSomandla makanithuthuzele bantakwethu. Makuthi ukukhala kwenu nibhenele kuye uThixo ngomthuthuzeli, isandla sakhe esinamandla. Akukude ukuthi singangakwazi ukuniphakamisa. Adla ngothi amakhumshana amagqobhokela ilizwe. Athi liso lakhe uThixo alikude ukuthi lingaboni insizini zenu. Hlalani kuye uThixo uSomandla nithuthuzela nambathise. Aninike lonke uthando, aninike lonke uxolo. Nimndulule ngoxolo xa kufika ixesha ezawubeka emangcwabeni ngomso. Ewe kulungile ukuphalaza inyembezi, kodwa ngoku khumbulani imisebenzi emihle ayenzileyo lo mama nimkhaphe ngayo yondlalo lemisebenzi emihle endleleni yakhe ibe njenge-red carpet endleleni yakhe ebheke emangcwabeni. Nimkhumbula izinto, kukho izinto eningakwazanga uzithetha senzele nina njengefemeli. Mkhapheni ke ngalo misebenzi emihle, ingqondo zenu zingamlibali ubulungisa benzele nina, ningamlibali izinto ebenicebisa kuze bomini, ningamlibali izinto ezinhla zenzileyo ezenzela nina njengesihlobo, isihlobo nezalamane. Abantwana bakhe bonke thuthuzekani. Thixo Somandla Omdala kanicekisanga. Incwadi kaIsaya umprofethi namazwi wathethayo ithi ngumkhonzi wami wena Sirele ndikucekisanga. Ndikukhaliphisile ewe, ndikuncedile, ndikuxhasile ngesandla sami sokunene sobulungisa bam. Ezimbanjeni zala vesi namazwi athi musukubheka-bheka ningalaqasi nibuze imibuzo uba bekutheni, why this time, why yena. But thuthuzelekani, uThixo unikhalisile, unincedile, unixhasile ngesandla sakhe sokunene esisesobulungisa bakhe. Makasonele la mazwi uThixo awasikelele ngaphakathi kweni ngokudibeni naphakade. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor. The message is heard clear. Love, compassion, unity. Thank you very much for that insightful presentation. I'd like to welcome Comrade Mkambisi Skwacha, who has joined us, Comrade Ernest Denon, Comrade Masuli Kama, who has joined us, Comrade Sibusiso, welcome. Who else is there? Comrade Zelda, welcome. And yeah, some really profound comments coming through. Comrade Tanya says, Comrade Jean embodied love for the people. She was authentic to herself, hence the character of love amplifies the character of God. Incredibly profound. Thank you for that, Comrade Tanya. Comrade Denver says, you always said your work ends when you don't breathe. And that is so true. Nothing could stop Comrade Jean, only death. Comrade Vuiswa from Langa branch 52 says, I did not know that it was our last telephone conversation about the plan for women's program on gender-based violence and socio-economic program. Sincere condolences to Auntie Jean's family. We have lost an RRU comrade. RRU, for those who don't know, is rebuilding, or at least renewal, rebuilding, and unity. And she's a servant of the organization and the people. Oh, comrade, long live the spirit of Comrade Jean, long live. Let me just plug in this battery of this laptop here before I lose power here. Comrade, our next item on the program is a tribute by Ambassador Sean Benefeld. And as I said when we started off, Comrade Sean would have been followed up with the convener of the province, Comrade Lenumo. Lenumo unfortunately had a mix-up in terms of the calendars, in that another memorial, virtual memorial service for Ward 107 was clashing and coinciding at the same time. And he asked Comrade Sean to represent the IPC. Comrade Sean, you will be wearing two hats, your own hat and that of the IPC. I give the floor to you. Comrade Sean.
A woman of untelling kindness, of enormous consequence, a sister, a comrade, a friend. Comrade Jean has always sought to leave no stone unturned when it comes to the poor, the marginalized, and the destitute. Forever ready to go the distance. A political activist par excellence, a genuine struggle heroine, a true, honest, sincere, and hardworking community builder, community developer. What a model of sacrifice. What a model of peace, of spirituality. A model of servanthood. Comrade Jean understood that servanthood meant sacrifice. For Comrade Jean, there was completely nothing virtuous about self-promotion and the politics of own advancement. She was simply not interested in the politics of position, of title, or of possessions. She stood on solid ground. A woman of enormous character, a symbol of integrity. She internalized good ethics. She exuded compassion. Gifts of the spirit that Comrade Jean would share and share abundantly with the people. Oh, Comrade Jean rejected manipulation. She rejected the politics of threat and coercion. She rejected those who would get others to act in a selfish manner, a manner that would but only advance themselves at the expense of the struggling masses and at the expense of the organization that Comrade Jean so deeply loved, the ANC. She would not tolerate the politics of benefit exchange. No, for Comrade Jean, it was never about you scratch my back and I scratch yours. She rejected a style of leadership that would intimidate, a style of leadership that would abuse power, a style of leadership that would simply be interested in their own selfish and narrow interests. She was so similar in style and system of belief to that revolutionary giant, Comrade Oliver Tambo. For Tambo says, to Congress we must be loyal and true. For Congress we must forget any personal or sectional interests or gain. We must put the cause and interests of the people before any expediency. Tambo says. But it could very well have been Comrade Jean speaking. For that was her revolutionary foundation. It was her politics. It was her outlook. She was principled, and Comrade Jean would consistently remind of the core values of the ANC. Comrade Thabo Mbeki speaks of Comrade OR, and he says at some point that Comrade OR would never violate the two principles one of loyalty to the ANC and its values, and commitment to pursue the genuine interests of the people. Comrade Thabo remarks further, in all interactions with OR, we had to honor the principles and practices, always to tell the truth, to respect the principle of honesty, to exercise the right to state our views, to behave according to the agreed rules of our membership of the ANC, and never to promote whatever might be our personal interests by telling lies or engaging in subterfuge, Comrade Thabo says. Again, immediately, one is able to read Comrade Jean into that kind of a frame, into that kind of politics, because like Comrade OR, Comrade Jean surrendered herself completely to the struggle, to serve the ANC, to serve South Africa and its people as a whole, and the struggling masses in particular. This was you, Comrade Jean, throughout your entire life. Powerful in how you lived your life in the ANC and amongst the people, forever rooted in struggle and in community. Generous in effort, commitment in support, in compassion, in integrity, a woman of tremendous fortitude, a woman of noble virtue. Her generosity knew no boundaries. She organized the community of Happy Valley from an informal settlement to a township. To this point, we could advance because of Comrade Jean. She organized the community of Greater Blackheath, Greater Blue Downs, and East River. And today, as a testimony to her efforts, we have the community healthcare facility in East River. We have the Blue Downs police station. We have the East River Library. We have the court in East River. We have the Blue Downs sports field. We have the West Bank housing development. All of these were achievements that Comrade Jean had inspired. Inspired through commitment and dedicated work. Critically, unselfish effort. Forever the interests of the struggling masses and the struggling masses only. Slow down she would not. South Africa just simply had to emerge as a free, non-racial, non-sexist, united, undivided country of a shared future, a shared prosperity, a common humanity. And right to the end, that would be the headline, the banner to the life of Comrade Jean. At the time of her passing, we were moving actively together. Comrade Jean, Comrade Denver, and others, with regards to the Velmut housing project. a project that envisages approximately 8,000 to 8,500 housing units. Of course, located in Ward 14. And Comrade Jean wanted to ensure that the challenge with regards to backyard dwellers in the Ward 14 Greater Blackheath area somehow needs to be taken on board in a manner that delivers dignity to people. That local business had to benefit from the opportunity that would come with a housing project in a particular locality. We were moving together on the business plaza, as Comrade Tozama has alluded to have it revived. The list is almost endless. You can continue and continue and continue because Comrade Jean just simply had no limit to capacity and to vision, to honesty and integrity, to sincere and dedicated work. She was trustworthy. A liar, she refused to be. Comrade Jean, you've captured our hearts. Integrity, emotional strength, patience, wisdom, humility. Hers would just never be the politics of big ego, of rudeness, of threat, of a way of speaking and engaging comrades in the ANC today that clearly does not belong in the ANC. Those who elect to be as rude as you would sometimes see them be, who lack the capacity for serious political conversation and engagement, are un-ANC in posture and habit. It does not matter what your title might be. It's your spirit, your character, and your manner of doing work that will testify as to whether or not you are genuinely that which we can call ANC DNA. Comrade Jean understood this. A comrade who would listen carefully. A comrade always interested in developing understanding of issues and discussion. She wanted to understand where are we trying to get to. Always. Again, trustworthy. Enormous political skill. Enormous organizational skill. Oh, she had struggled seasoning. You could see her quality whenever she passes by. Comrade Jean had history in the ANC and in struggle. But arrogance would just never define her. All too often today, arrogance leads in how comrades, and I use the term advisedly because it's a special reference that invokes a particular understanding, that brings with it a particular quality. And often if you were to assess the term and you look at a comrade in inverted commas and how he or she, Comrade Mthamo speaks of ladies and gentlemen, and he speaks of comrades. How he or she would conduct him or herself, you are burdened and in pain because this can but just never be a comrade. In fact, it's the ladies and gentlemen that Comrade Mthamo refers to. And the sad reality is that you find them all over in the organization today and in leadership positions And the fact that they might carry title or position would not indemnify them when it comes to the kind of revolutionary quality test that Comrade Jean would subject you to. Comrade Jean would never insist, Nancy line, my way or the highway. She earned respect. She didn't force it. There was no need to. She didn't have to threaten. She didn't have to remind of her standing or title or position in the organization. No, far from it. She was simply revolutionary quality in action and in presence. Whenever she passed by, you would know there goes a woman of great quality. Comrade Jean understood that character engenders perspective. Comrade Jean understood that character resides at the very heart of leadership. Contradictions she would embrace. Adversity she would see as an opportunity that could strengthen her character. She also understood her own limitations. In looking at what might be required at a particular moment, it was but only about the people's interests. She would never advance herself if she believes that the space can be better occupied by somebody else. I borrow from words elsewhere because I think it describes Comrade Jean in a very, very, very clear and eloquent way. Comrade Jean, a woman of confidence, not of cowardice, of huge calm, not of craziness, of political competence, not clumsy political immaturity, of political clarity, not political confusion, not ambiguity, not incoherence. She would always make sense, and more often than not, by just saying things in a very plain way. Not high language, not complicated language, but clear idea and perspective that would take forward the struggle of our people. Comrade Jean was a definitive cornerstone of the ANC's work in Happy Valley, the Greater Blackheath, the Greater Blue Downs, East River, and the Western Cape. She was not driven by the politics of factionalism. Today, we have members of the ANC. The only thing that they can really claim as theirs is their capacity for factionalism. They lack understanding of the ANC. They lack understanding of our history. They are poor when it comes to understanding our values, our traditions, our principles. They struggle with ethics. They struggle with morality, thinking that these are ANC foreign things, when in fact, they go to the very heart of ANC existence. But they have been born into factionalism, and they have raised themselves on the basis of this platform, and they can add no value but factional conduct for the benefit of own interests. They thrive on disunity. They are not interested in building an ANC that is united. but of course a principled unity. Because we cannot unite with thieves. We cannot unite with robbers who steal from the public purse, who steal at the expense of development and taking our people to that moment in the future of a better life, a better tomorrow. Those who deny that the Freedom Charter comes into reality, there is no unity to be made with them. Thieves belong in prison. It's a simple point that Comrade Jean would make all the time. History will fail, or history rather will judge us badly if we fail your example, Comrade Jean. Oh, Comrade Jean, you were increasingly worried about the state and the condition of your beloved ANC, as witnessed and as is evident in recent times. You agreed with Comrade Thabo Mbeki that the ANC now faces the third threat of destruction. This time, Comrade Thabo says, the threat emanates from acts of commission originating from within the ANC itself. Comrade Jean, you understood, like Comrade Thabo, that the challenge with state power was and is that it could be abused for purposes of self-enrichment. You understood that the ANC contains, as Comrade Thabo says, within its ranks, people who are absolutely contemptuous of the most fundamental values of the ANC. They do not belong here. As Comrade Thabo says, at whose center is a commitment selflessly to serve the people. That is the ANC. There are people, or these people, in the words of Comrade Thabo, and a sentiment shared by Comrade Jean. These are people who only see the ANC as a stepladder to enable them to access state power for the express purpose of using that access for self-enrichment. The struggling masses are not part of the equation. There is no unity to be made with such people. Comrade Jean understood and agreed with Nelson Mandela that many members of the ANC see their membership of the ANC as a means to advance personal ambitions to attain positions of power and access to resources for own individual gratification. Comrade Jean spoke of careerists and how, like Mandela has said, they work to create the conditions for their success. Comrade Jean would often refer to the 2017 assessment that was offered by the then Secretary General of the ANC, Cde Mantashe, when he says, being in power is rapidly becoming a source of political bankruptcy, in that members of the ANC fight for deployment, and did we not see it not too long ago? They fight as if there's no tomorrow. The use of money to buy votes in the party is at the heart of the decline of the quality of structures across the board. Comrade Mantashi says, money has replaced consciousness. The ethical behavior of leaders is no longer an issue. He continues, ethical behavior has been replaced by status, he says. Comrade Thabo warns of what he refers to as negative consequences of the current condition. And Comrade Jean was burdened by this. And these are the negative consequences of the current condition, as per Comrade Thabo, echoed by Comrade Jean. The corruption and weakening of the ANC and the rest of the progressive movement. The corruption and weakening of the institutions of the democratic state. The undermining of the precepts and practices of our constitutional democracy. State capture. Failure to achieve significant advances with regards to achieving the goal of a better life for all. Comrade Jean was clear that the ANC today, yes, Comrade Joseph is correct when he cites different moments in our history in the past, when the ANC was confronted by crisis and the ANC had a capacity to respond. We should not underestimate the role that Comrade OR was able to play in that context. We do not have OR today. And the crisis that the ANC is subjected to today is a crisis that threatens its future, its very existence. The ANC's crisis today, and we've never had this crisis in the past, is essentially a moral crisis. Comrade Jean understood that unprincipled access to power threatens the ANC. It threatens the future. Comrade Dalla Umar had once referred to the ANC struggle in the Western Cape, and this was post-1994, as a struggle against irrelevance. Comrade Dalla Umar and Comrade Jean, similarly so, understood that the choice that confronts the ANC in the Western Cape post-94 and particularly today, is either irrelevance or renewal, genuine renewal, and genuine rebuild, and principled and sincere and genuine unity. If this, Comrade Jean has often contended in discussion, is not addressed immediately, the demise of our beloved movement could very well be on the cards. I agree with you, Comrade Jean. Genuine members of the ANC must assume responsibility to turn things around. It is our responsibility to take the ANC off this destructive path. But as the ANC, we must accept critically that we have a deep and a fundamental crisis. There must be a proper diagnosis. There cannot be a successful cure if the diagnosis is incomplete or not a full run of the current condition. In a completely dispassionate, truthful, and honest way. So what is wrong with the ANC? We have to ask this question in an honest and sincere way. Brutal honesty is what is required. And part of that honesty, that truthfulness, today is a moment for the politics of complete truthfulness, is that we must admit that the choice, in fact, is rather simple. Irrelevance in the Western Cape, completely, get to below 20% as a political electoral presence, or fundamental renewal, rebuild, and genuine principled unity. Comrade Jean was not afraid. Her choice was clear. Our choice would have to be clear. She did not walk away from the responsibility to ensure that our beloved ANC prevails for the sake of our people. South Africa and the Western Cape in particular, we still need the ANC. Comrade Jean understood this, and she was equal to the task that would emanate from that revolutionary realization. Permit me to borrow from Nelson Mandela in 1993, and I interchange Comrade OR with you, Comrade Jean. Let all of us who live say that while we live, Jean Mthamo will not die. May you rest in peace. Go well, my sister. Farewell, dear friend. As you instructed, we will bring peace to our tormented land. As you directed, we will bring freedom to the oppressed and liberation to the oppressor. As you strived, we will restore the dignity of the dehumanized. As you commanded, we will defend the option of peaceful resolution of our problems. As you prayed, we will respond to the cries of the wretched of the earth. As you loved them, we will always stretch out a hand of endearment to those who are your flesh and blood. In all of this, we will not fail you. We will not fail you, Comrade Jean. Your work remains an inspiring revolutionary thought. Like you, we understand that freedom from apartheid can never mean that we as a nation tolerate violence and abuse against our women and children. Our women and children must be protected if freedom from apartheid is to deliver full value in the life of the nation. We will continue to unite in the fight against violence and abuse of our women and children. Together we can and must defeat this demon. As I move to a close, I want to share a poem with the title Fallen Limb. The author is unknown. A limb has fallen from the family tree. I keep hearing a voice that says, grieve not for me. Remember the best times, the laughter, the song, the good life I lived while I was strong. Continue my heritage. I'm counting on you. Keep smiling and surely the sun will shine through. My mind is at ease. My soul is at rest. Remembering all how I truly was blessed. Continue traditions no matter how small. Go on with your life. Don't worry about falls. I miss you all dearly, so keep up your chin until the day comes we together again. The clouds of loss have lowered upon the Mthamo family. Yes, indeed, a limb has fallen from their tree. Please accept heartfelt condolences from my own family to yours, from the ANC family to yours. May the love, grace, and comforting embrace of the Almighty enfold during this time of sorrow and of grief. God will not forsake you, your spirit will be restored. Together we intercede for the eternal repose of Comrade Jean's soul. May the Almighty rest her in peace, and may we see her in the flowers that bloom and in the fields of ripening grains of our shared future. Strength, courage, and peace. You are in our thoughts and our prayers, Mthamo family. Your loss is our loss. Your grief is our grief. We will together miss her sorely. Thank you for sharing this unique blessing with us. The ANC and South Africa indeed will be forever indebted to you. Please accept, in particular, heartfelt condolences from President Ramaphosa. The entire government of South Africa. Comrade Squatcher is present in the House, a member of that government, a standout member of that government. The entire NEC of the ANC, the interim provincial leadership of the ANC, Comrade Lerumo Kalako in particular, as our convener in the Western Cape. All of the ANC family. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. May God grant you peace and courage during this undoubtedly trying hour. God bless you, Mthamo family. God bless us all. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Sean. I won't even attempt to summarize what you have said. That might keep us here for a while longer. You've said much of it has been instructive. Much of it has been an awakening. And I would almost want to propose that or request that you post on the group what you have said here now. There is a lot that we need to take heed of. In particular, one point that is close to my heart in the sense that political importance. The point that you made in terms of making a proper diagnosis of the state of the ANC in the Western Cape. that is our responsibility as creators of the ANC. That perhaps, and I would want to propose, or perhaps as a follow-up session, that we engage on this, that there is that frank discussion, that there is that dispassionate assessment of the state of the ANC. All the issues and items that you had raised. And I propose that we arrange another Zoom session. Actually zooms in, no pun intended, actually zooms in on those particular issues. Because it is issues that was close to Comrade Jean's heart. Renewal, rebuilding, and restoring the moral fiber of the ANC was close to her heart. And she was unapologetic about her views on these things. And I believe that we owe it to her. And we owe it to our heroes of the past, the Mthamos of the past, the Tulis of the past, that we, do not become pallbearers of the ANC. Because that, I think, would be the ultimate betrayal to the people of South Africa, and an ultimate waste in terms of those who have died, who have sacrificed, who have gone before us. And these are critical issues, and thank you for raising those issues. To conclude, comrades, I just want to read a few more messages here, in particular one from Gugu Majola, which Comrade Jean's daughter. She says, as a family, we would like to say thank you for giving our mother this platform, celebrating a life with you as family, as ANC was, and still that we will be her family, even in heaven. Loved you all with her life. May you be blessed for supporting us. I say thank you very much, Comrade Gugu. It is indeed the ANC who should thank the family, who should thank you. As I said in my opening remarks, that Comrade Jean's commitment to the ANC was not without sacrifice. Sacrifice that her children had to endure, sacrifice that the family had to endure. The ANC is deeply appreciative of that, and we can only but thank you, and we can only but pledge that we will continue to honor the legacy of your mother, of Comrade, our comrade, our confidant, our leader. For those who have joined later, I had made an announcement when I spoke initially that as a branch and as a branch executive, we had met and we had decided that the best way for us to really give expression to the legacy of Comrade Jean is to honor her and start a process to rename our branch, which is currently known as ANC Ward 14, to rename our branch to ANC Jean Mthamo. That way, her legacy lives on. Her example serves as an inspiration, and it can only but inspire to achieve more, to do more, to commit more, to love more, to give more, to be more compassionate, to be what Comrade Jean had been to us, been for us, been for the community. So that is a process that we are going to embark on. So, Comrade Gugu, again, it is us that should thank you, thank the family. We are deeply appreciative. Thank you very much. Comments, I think we've actually gone 2.5 hours, and I think we've said a lot. I want to thank everyone who had taken the time out and cost of data, no doubt, to have joined in on this. I want to thank all our speakers, Comrade Joseph, Comrade Melvin de Bruin, Comrade Tozama Bevu, Pastor Mpati, Majola, for your contribution. I would want to believe that it was a good, meaningful, qualitative memorial that we had given Comrade Jean. I want to thank everyone for participating in that and for honoring Comrade Jean in the work that we did. In closing, I would like to just appeal to everyone that over the past 3 days, we've seen new infections. One day was 18,000, the following day was 14,000, 12,000. The point being is that the infection rates are at horrendous levels, and more so than what it was during the first wave. And I want to appeal to all of us as leaders of society to make that extra effort to raise awareness amongst the community, amongst the people. Adhere to the simple basics, very simple basics. There's nothing onerous about it. Just to social distance, which is to wear the mask, to sanitize, and to act in a responsible way. Let us redouble our efforts in that regard. If it continues along this trend, it will be devastating on so many levels. We lost comrade Jean to COVID-19. We've lost so many comrades to COVID-19. Every day there is death notices coming through. It's utterly depressing, and we really should redouble our effort to do everything we can possible to raise awareness and to educate and to encourage people to just stick to the. With that, comrades, I want to say thank you and close this session. I won't stop. Comrades can chat amongst each other. You can unmute yourselves and have a chat and how formal proceedings concluded. Thank you very much. Wow, if only branch meetings can be like this, it would be nice. There's silence.
Siyabonga. Siyabonga Comrade Jean, siyabonga.
Yeah.
Mandla.
Away too. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bless you, my brother.
It's only a pleasure. Only a pleasure. Pam.
Long live the spirit of Comrade Jean, long live.
Long live.
Long live.
Yeah.
Carry on with your work, Comrade Isham. Keep on walking, John. You walk.
Will do. Thank you. Comrade Griselda, nice to see you.
Yeah, ne?
Comrade Ernest. Good to see you. Okay.
Hey, let's review.
Okay, comrades, enjoy the rest of at least what's left of the long weekend. I don't know if some are still on holiday. My holiday ends today, so tomorrow it's back to work again. So I wish everyone everything of the best. Stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye, comrades.